This episode of From Tops to Bottoms contains strong language, content of a sexual nature, talk of sexual assault and trauma, and as always, stuff that will probably offend your nan.
Hello guys, gals and non-binary pals, and welcome to this week's episode of Aftercare. My name's Sam.
And my name is Cassie.
And this week we are answering your questions and telling your stories related to our last episode, Nudes, Nudes, Nudes.
This week we got a lot more stories and like people relating to what we were saying more than we got questions, so we're going to mainly be discussing them, but then we do have some questions to discuss at the end. So I think we should maybe get the heavy ones out the way with first.
Yeah, I think so.
And then we can end on a happy note, but you know, let's get through them all. In the episode we spoke about how women can often use their nudes to reclaim their body after sexual assault. I actually wasn't going to mention that because it's such a tricky topic and I didn't want to upset anyone, and I'm a sexual assault survivor myself, and I know how like it may come across as someone who you assume isn't a survivor, like them speaking on your behalf. So I didn't really want to be like, oh, I'm a sexual assault survivor and some people do this. However, so many people came forward saying that they've done that too. And Sam's probably never heard me say this, but in my assault pictures were involved. I had pictures taken of me whilst unconscious, and nudes were a huge thing for me. Like, I didn't want to take nudes for a long time. Because after seeing them pictures, it was just like, ugh, like how that I was a receiver of my own nude at that point. Not that it was ever sent to me. So it was so nice to see people coming forward saying that like they too did that. I think someone messaged you about that as well, didn't they, Sam?
Yeah, they did, yeah. I am very, very glad that you did end up mentioning it, because we've had, I would use the word surprising amount of people that got in touch, but it's not surprising to me. It's honestly incredibly sad, the amount of people that got in touch to say that they also use that as a way to recover from sexual assault. But also, I do see it as a kind of a positive, because we are all reclaiming our own bodies after surviving assault, and I think that is incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
Like, the amount of people that got in touch to say that they really related to what we were saying, and that they really enjoyed hearing other people having been empowered by the same method, reminds me of why we're doing this. Like, we really want to push for that open dialogue, and we really want to make other people know and let other people know that they aren't alone in what they're going through. Like, so many people go through these same experiences. Like, I had people that I know quite closely got in touch with their own stories. Like, one person that got in touch with me said that their boyfriend at the time threatened to leak their nudes if they didn't meet up with them. And this person was 15 at the time. And like, as we mentioned, you got to think about the legalities of that as well, because their partner at the time was like 15, 16. But to know that children have been put in this situation, it hurts me. It really does.
Yeah, that's absolutely disgusting. 15 years old, there's never a right age, obviously, but that is just too young to be put through such trauma and stress. That is absolutely disgusting, to be taking advantage of somebody like that.
Yeah.
How old was this guy?
He was like 15, 16.
Oh, God. This is why things like consent and like a more comprehensive sex education needs to be brought into schools, because behaving like that at the age of 15 is not acceptable. I know you're not an adult, but that is not acceptable. And
no, but you're old enough to know right from wrong, and you know that leaking anybody's nudes is wrong. Honestly, and I know we really hammered on the whole point about trust as well, and that was their boyfriend that did it. That was their partner that did that to them, that threatened to leak their nudes if they didn't meet them. And I just think, holy shit, like, how are some people so disgusting? And I know this is such a heavy note to start the podcast with, but it's one of those realities that this is why we need a more comprehensive sex education. This is why people need to talk about this, because people go through these experiences and feel so alone. But everyone is, a lot of people, and obviously not everyone, but a lot of people are going through incredibly similar experiences.
Yeah, I think people seem to think that, like, sexual assault is like getting raped in an alleyway, or it's by someone you don't know, but the statistics show different, and they're mainly by people you know, and it's not just that. It can be someone threatening to leak your nudes. It can be by your boyfriend.
Hearing all these people come forward with their own stories that they're trusting us with about their sexual assaults and how they coped by using nudes as a method of reclaiming their own body. I mean, I know for you, Cass, as well, it was incredibly emotional for both of us. Like, it was incredibly emotional, and honestly, I appreciate anyone that comes forward. I really do. I appreciate you trusting me with that information, and it blows me away.
Yeah, I think to message somebody on Instagram that you've heard in a podcast and to share your experience is so brave, and we do not take that for granted.
Absolutely not.
Like, both of us, every single message, we will the time to respond to every single one. Like, it sounds so cliche that they mean the world to us, but, like, honestly,
it does. Like,
thank you so much for sharing that with us, because it's been, like, as much as we've been talking about it already, it's even been eye-opening for us, and even me, that, you know, running MSAS, like, I'm still continuously shocked about the amount of people. Me and Sam had a quick discussion before we hit record, and I think the words Sam said were, it's funny how we all know someone who's been sexually assaulted, or women all know someone who's been sexually assaulted, but men know no abusers. Yeah. And I think we could talk about and unpack that forever, but it is, I don't have enough fucking fingers to count how many women I know that have been sexually assaulted, to be honest.
Just know that no matter what's going on with you, what stage you are in your recovery, you're not alone, and there's always someone you can talk to. You can use any kind of method you want. I mean, whether you want to message us at 2 a.m, anything, you stay with us. As we said, will stay with us. Yeah,
always. We will always, always, always hold space for anybody that wants to come and speak to us about that. Yeah. Whether you want to speak to us on, like, a personal level, or you want to get, like, some actual help and we can point you in the right direction, we will always, always hold space for that.
Yeah. So now that we've covered that, we did have other people get in touch with other stories and questions that they had as well. One story that we did have, which was one of my favourites, was about this woman who had a sexy boudoir photo shoot with her boyfriend while they were on holiday. And oh my God,
I love that.
I love that so much. Like, people forget it can be something that you do with your partner. Like, you can get dressed up, you can wear nice lingerie, you can do all kinds of stuff, and you can make it, like, I don't want to say a group activity because there's 2 of you, but I mean, 2 is a group. But you can make it something fun. Like, you can do it together. It doesn't have to be a quick Snapchat nude that you send. You know, it can be like a nice, like, boudoir photo shoot.
Like, back in the day when you'd have, like a Polaroid picture in, like, a lot of films, you see, like actual, what are they called, Sam? Like, what are they called?
The Polaroids.
When you go, now you go get your photos developed, and they're just, like, actual photos.
Oh, film.
From, like the
negatives.
Yeah. No, it's just pictures.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
But I mean, like, from a disposable camera, there we go.
Oh,
So
for God's
like, I
sake.
feel like that was a thing to like take nudes on that. I could never on a disposable camera,
I mean, I
a
admire the
one-shot
balls.
nude. Oh my goodness, mad respect, my guy, mad respect. But yeah, we should go back to that. One question I got was, do you have any tips for when someone asks you for a nude and you don't want to send one? Also, any tips for how not to feel guilty afterwards? So I assume that means after rejecting sending a nude. Tips for not sending one. Just be like, hey, I'm not really comfortable with the whole nude sending thing. That's really all you need to say, isn't it? Like, and if they care for you, then they're not gonna. They shouldn't anyway. It just seems awkward to be like, no, because they're probably going to be asking you in like a sexy, flirty way, and then you've kind of got to break that with no. But if you don't want to send one, what's your other option? It's either no or you send one and you don't want to send it. So I think I'm going to sneeze. Hold on. Motherfucker, that was... Jesus Christ, talking out of me that. Bless me.
I think anyone that has respect for you will honour your boundaries. If you have that boundary, if you're not comfortable with it, and you voice that and they're not happy with it, then that tells you what you need to know about that person.
Yeah. If someone is uncomfortable with their body and they're uncomfortable with taking pictures of their body, you shouldn't then be getting off to them feeling pressured to send one. Because if I knew that someone I was dating just wasn't comfortable with their body, or just maybe was comfortable with their body but wasn't comfortable taking pictures of their body, or even just sending someone else a picture for their own like safety, then I would not be like, and then they ended up sending it to me anyway to please me. I wouldn't be getting off to that picture, and I it wouldn't make me happy in the slightest, because of course I'd be caring for that person, so why would I, you know what I mean? They wouldn't.
Yeah.
If you're then going to get off to that, then like, if they press you into it, fuck them off, because they clearly don't love and respect you and respect your boundaries. So you don't want that. Dump them. Fuck that.
So fuck them.
In the bin. And how not to feel guilty. It's your body.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing to feel guilty about. You don't owe anyone shit. It's not like you promised something and then took it away. I mean, even if you did that, you still can do that. But it's not like theirs to take away. So there's nothing to feel guilty about. It's your body. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean you love anyone less. If your partner asks for a nude and you say no, that doesn't mean you love them less. You're just not comfortable doing that.
Yeah, I could not have put that any better myself.
I think that's all. However, we did have a little quick, cheeky little story. Someone messaged me about the poem. 2 people messaged me about the poem. Not a question, but that poem absolutely killed me off. Honestly, it kills me off every time I listen to it. Literally every time I read it, I'm like, that is so funny.
I honestly had completely forgotten about it until you mentioned it just before we filmed the podcast. And fucking hell, man, like...
Oh, it is so funny.
I feel famous. Someone's written a poem about my nudes.
I feel famous. People are laughing at my poem. Also, a friend messaged me saying that they were listening to the podcast and all of a sudden they couldn't hear me talk anymore. And then they realised their headphones were out, so all of the train heard the poem, and I was like, they are welcome.
I love that so much.
Can you imagine just sitting on the train and hearing, like, one thing I won't help with is the spicy shower clips. You'd be like, pardon, what is this woman listening to?
Or if he turns out to be a nonce, I'll catch her when she falls.
Oh my God. I'm there to catch her when she falls. Stunning. Thank you so much. But yeah, we're very glad you all enjoyed the episode. We were quite nervous for the promo, to be honest. Sam was nervous for the episode. I was nervous for the promo. Because the promo we used were our nudes.
Yeah.
So if you want to go see a nude of me and Sam, go follow us on our Instagram, which is from tops to bottoms. We also put it on Facebook too, didn't we? Which was a bit Bit of a yikes. I came into work and my brother's girlfriend was like, nice nude. And I was like, oh, shit. In front of, like, all the regulars. And it was literally, in that second, I was like, I hate this podcast. I don't really. It's my baby. We had some good responses and we shouldn't have been that nervous because everyone's lovely so far.
But yeah, thank you obviously so much for all of your responses and your reception to each and every episode. We are incredibly thankful. And I think that's it for this week's episode of Aftercare. As Kirsty said before, make sure you follow us on our Instagram, which is @FromTopsToBottoms. My personal Instagram is @SamanthaInBJ.
Mine is @radicallove.co.uk, and that is the same for my website. We also have a Twitter, which is @TopsToBottoms.
Yeah, we both always forget that.
Yeah, and then our Facebook is just From Tops to Bottoms.
We also have an email address, which is hellotopstobottoms@gmail.com. If you want to get in touch with us via email, be a little bit more old school. But yeah, otherwise, make sure you join us on Friday for the scariest episode we've ever put out about masturbation.
Yikes. Woo! Yeah. I love this job.
Yeah, we will see you Friday. Peace out.
Bye. Hi, just quickly before we go, I wanted to apologise for the sound levels in this episode. I was really hungover, so I recorded in my bed. So the microphone wasn't always in the right place, so yikes, sorry about that. Also, we forgot, because it was such a heavy episode, we sort of forgot to mention the red lighting, and both me and Sam wanted to add a little bit in the end. We got so many messages about people joking about me and my red lighting. Cassie's go-to lighting for nudes, the 10 hours of red lighting on YouTube. A friend of mine called Charlie messaged me and said, I'm going to get you a red light for your nudes. I'm going to get you a colour changing light for your nudes. And it made me laugh so much. And that was from like the first episode, actually. He sent that. And then when the nudes episode came out, when I spoke more about the red lighting, so many of you told me where to get a red light bulb from. So don't worry, I'm going to buy one on payday. I'm going to get me some red bulbs. So expect to see some saucy nudes from me. Anyway, thanks again. Thanks for listening. Tune in on Friday for an episode on masturbation. Hope to see you then. Bye.